Your dog is not watching TV. Not really. The screen flickers, an animal appears, and your dog tilts its head. But the moment you look away from the screen, something shifts. Your dog stops watching it too. What they were watching the whole time was you. If you want to understand what your dog is really telling you, you are in the right place. Let me start with the part everyone gets wrong. People assume their dog watches TV the way we do, drawn in by the story, the faces, the drama. But a dog's visual system is genuinely different from ours. Dogs have a flicker fusion rate higher than humans, which means older television technology, at 60 Hz refresh rates, looked like a strobe light to them. Modern screens at 120 Hz or higher? Much more watchable. Dogs are also dichromats. Where we see the full spectrum, they see blues and yellows most vividly. Reds and greens blur into muddy browns. So that nature documentary with the crimson cardinal? Your dog is seeing something closer to a muddy blob on a beige background. What dogs do respond to on screen are movement and sound, particularly sounds in the frequency range associated with animals and high-pitched vocalizations. A dog barking on TV. Rapid motion across the frame. Those things register. But here's where it gets interesting. Researchers have consistently noted that individual dogs vary enormously in how much they attend to screens at all. And when you look at what predicts that variation, the answer is not the screen content. Here is the meta-psychology pivot I want to make with you, because this is not a video about dog vision. It is a video about what you have been broadcasting and what your dog has been picking up. When researchers study canine attention in naturalistic home environments, they find that a dog's gaze direction is not primarily determined by environmental stimuli. It is determined by social referencing, checking the owner for information about how to interpret the world. Your dog looks to you the way a toddler looks to a parent before deciding whether a stranger is safe. When I came across the 2021 paper by Van Herwijnen, published in the journal Behavior, something clicked into place for me. Van Herwijnen's work on owner-dog caregiving systems found that the quality of attunement an owner offers, their emotional responsiveness, their consistency, predicts the dog's social referencing behavior more reliably than almost any environmental variable. In plain terms, your dog is not watching TV. Your dog is watching what TV does to you. They are reading your reactions, your body language, your breath rate, the way your shoulders drop when you are absorbed, the way you flinch when something startles you. You are the primary data source. The screen is background noise. That is not just a cute observation. It is the lens through which everything else in this video should be read. Number 1. You have been trading attention in this relationship, and your dog has been keeping a very accurate account of it. When you sit down in front of a screen, you enter a state of partial social withdrawal. Your eye contact drops. Your responsiveness to outside stimuli slows. You stop initiating interaction. For most dogs, this is a familiar experience. It happens every evening, probably for hours at a time. Now here's what I find revealing. Dogs do not respond to this withdrawal with uniform resignation. Some dogs disengage, others escalate. They nudge, they whine, they get up and circle, they put a paw on your arm. And others simply orient toward the TV alongside you, as if joining an activity they cannot quite access. When I read the 2011 research by Rooney and colleagues published in Applied Animal Behavior Science, what stood out was how powerfully an owner's interactive engagement style shapes a dog's behavior across contexts. Dogs whose owners engaged with them in high-quality, responsive ways were more settled, more confident, and showed healthier attention-seeking patterns. Dogs with owners who were intermittently available, present, but not really present, developed more anxious, escalating bids for connection. Your dog's behavior during your TV time is a fairly precise readout of how your attention economy runs in this relationship. Are they settled, or are they working for you? If that just made you see your relationship with your pet in a completely different way, hit subscribe. We explore the science of the human-pet bond every week and what it reveals about us. Number 2. Your dog is reading your reactions to the screen as instructions about reality, and you may not know what instructions you are giving. Social referencing is the behavior of looking to a trusted figure to gauge how to interpret an ambiguous stimulus. Infants do it constantly. Dogs do it too, and the research on this is striking. When something unfamiliar appears, dogs do not simply react. They check the owner's face first. If the owner looks calm, the dog relaxes. If the owner tenses, the dog tenses. Now apply this to television. When a loud crash sounds from the speakers, does your body react? When an animal appears on screen, do you lean forward? When a sudden musical sting hits, does your breath catch? Your dog is watching all of it, not to understand the show, but to calibrate their own nervous system against yours. I found the work of Powell and colleagues, published in Frontiers in Veterinary Science in 2021, especially illuminating here. Their study on owner personality and owner-dog attachment found that an owner's own anxiety levels, measured independently, significantly predicted stress outcomes in their dogs. The dog does not need to understand the threat. They only need to detect that you have perceived one. This means that a tense thriller is genuinely different from a calm nature documentary, not for your dog's plot comprehension, but for your dog's nervous system state. Number 3. What you do not react to tells your dog as much as what you do react to, and you have been training them on your emotional hierarchy without knowing it. Every time your dog hears something on TV and looks at you for a cue, and you do not respond, they log it. Over hundreds of repetitions, they build a map of what registers on your radar and what does not. That map is not neutral. It shapes which stimuli they treat as meaningful and which they learn to dismiss. But here is the sharper edge of this. The same principle applies to them. When your dog alerts, ears up, a low sound in the throat, a shift toward the window, and you do not look up from the screen, you are also sending a signal. You are communicating in your body language that whatever they detected is not worth your attention. For a socially attuned animal, that is direct information. Some owners find this unsettling because it means their dog's sensitivity, the things they react to and the things they stop reacting to, is partly a curriculum that the owner designed without ever writing a lesson plan. The 2021 paper by Van Herwijnen on owner caregiving styles is relevant here. Dogs calibrate their alertness based on the quality and consistency of owner attunement. A distracted owner does not produce a calm dog. They produce a dog that has learned what this particular human notices and what they do not. Number 4. The sounds that make you react. Laughter, raised voices, music that signals tension have become your dog's emotional landmarks, and they did not choose them. You did. Dogs hear a broader frequency range than we do, and they are extraordinarily sensitive to the human voice. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Tone, rhythm, emotional coloring. Your dog parses all of it. When the TV produces a voice that sounds warm and familiar, your dog may settle. When it produces voices that sound sharp or elevated, they may orient towards you to see how you are reading it. But there is a subtler layer here. Over time, the specific sounds you reliably respond to become emotional cues for your dog, independent of your reaction. A particular news jingle, a theme song that means you are now in a good mood, the credits music that means you are about to stand up and do something. Your dog has memorized your personal soundtrack. What I find genuinely moving about this is that it means your dog is not a passive presence in your media consumption. They are building a detailed internal model of what your emotional life sounds like, scene by scene, reaction by reaction. This connects to what McLennan's 2023 research in applied animal behavior science documented about attention and owner engagement. Dogs that have rich, responsive interactions with their owners develop more refined social attention. They listen to you more carefully. They watch you more closely. They remember more about how you respond. Number 5. Your dog's response to the screen is also a window into something deeper in their biology. And what you make of that response says something about how you think about them as individuals. Not all dogs respond to TV the same way, and the variation is not random. Dogs with strong herding instincts, Border Collies, Australian Shepherds, are often dramatically reactive to motion on screen. Dogs break for scent work may barely glance up. Sighthounds may track movement with laser focus. Terriers may go rigid at anything that moves like prey. When I came across the 2023 study by McLennan in Applied Animal Behavior Science, something I found compelling was the documentation of how activities that engage a dog's predatory motor sequence, the biological programming of stalk, chase, grab, subsequently increase how much the dog attends to their owner. The screen content that most activates your dog is not random entertainment. It is engaging real, ancient circuitry. Here is the owner psychology piece. How do you respond when your dog goes reactive at the TV? Do you laugh it off? Do you try to calm them? Do you encourage it because it is entertaining? Do you feel guilty? The way you interpret your dog's breed-driven behavior reveals something about whether you see them as a personality to understand or a behavior to manage. Neither is wrong, but they are different starting points. What your dog does at the screen is biology. What you do about it is psychology. Number 6. The single most revealing thing about how your dog responds to TV is not what they watch. It is who they stay near while watching it. Some dogs park themselves at their owner's feet during TV time and stay there the entire evening. Others circle, wander, return briefly, leave again. Others sleep in another room entirely. And some dogs, the ones who invite conversation about it in our comments every week, actively seem to watch with their owner, turning to make eye contact during emotional moments, as if to say, "Are you getting this?" That last behavior is the one that stops me every time, because what that dog is doing is seeking shared experience. Not just proximity, not just warmth, shared emotional meaning. And that requires something specific from the owner, the capacity to be present, to receive, to co-regulate. Research by Rooney and colleagues in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that owner interaction style, specifically how much an owner engages in mutual, responsive behavior, is one of the strongest predictors of a dog's social confidence and settled attention. Dogs who have owners who are genuinely emotionally present develop a richer social attunement. They are better at reading humans, they are more curious, they are less anxious. Your dog is not simply near you during TV time. They are assessing moment to moment how available you actually are, and they are adjusting their own behavior accordingly. So here is what I want you to walk away with, because this is where it gets personal. Your dog's behavior during TV time is a low-stakes, daily diagnostic of your emotional availability. Not a judgment, a data point. And I say low stakes because the couch is the right place to be learning this. It costs you nothing to notice. The question is not whether your dog should be watching TV or how to get them to stop reacting to the screen. The question is, what does this nightly ritual reveal about the kind of emotional presence you bring to this relationship? If your dog settles when you settle, tenses when you tense, looks at you during every uncertain moment, you are raising a socially attuned animal. That is not an accident. That is the result of consistent emotional availability, even when you are not trying. It is something to be proud of. If your dog paces, escalates bids for attention, or disengages during your TV time, that is also information. It may mean the relationship has more room in it, room that your dog is already pointing at. Your dog is not the passive recipient of your media choices. They are the living record of your emotional climate. What they do on the couch beside you is not random dog behavior. It is the data your household generates every single evening. You did not teach your dog to read you. They arrived already fluent in that language. The question is whether you have become equally fluent in return. The next time you sit down for the evening and your dog settles in beside you, I want you to try something. Before the screen pulls you in, just for a moment, look at them, not to check on them, to be seen by them. Because your dog already knows what kind of evening this is going to be. They can read it in the way you sit down, the way your breath lands, the way your shoulders hold. They have been reading those signals since the first night you brought them home. What changes when you know that? When you understand that this animal beside you on the couch is not a passive companion, but an active, attuned reader of your interior life is that the relationship becomes something more deliberate, not more effortful, more conscious. You are not just watching TV together. You are being witnessed, quietly, completely, without any agenda except closeness. That is what your dog has been offering you every single evening. The question is not what they are watching. The question is whether you are fully in the room with them when they do. Now that you know your dog's behavior during TV time is a nightly readout of your emotional availability. When did your dog last turn from the screen to look at your face? And were you present enough to notice it? Let us know in the comments. New episodes drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Make sure you are subscribed to catch the next one. Until then, decode your dog, decode yourself.